WASPy campaigners have threatened the government with legal action unless it reconsiders the decision to reject compensation for millions of women affected by changes to the state pension age. The Women Against State Pension Equality campaign demanded compensation to be paid to women born in the 1950s whose state pension age was raised to be equal with men, but the government said in December it would not be paid. Also on the programme tonight, a yoga teacher who was attacked in the Southport stabbings and said she felt she had to survive in order to save the children in her class despite being stabbed 5 times. Alex Rocabanda murdered Alice da Silva Agua 9, BB King 6 and Elsie Stancombe 7 at a Taylor Swift themed class in July 2024. Bubanka was 17 at the time of the attack and was jailed for a minimum of 52 years in January. Also, on News at 10 tonight, Concave and Timothy Chalmers triumph at the SAG Awards in Los Angeles. And MPs to debate social media ban for under 16s after support for petition.
This is STV News at 10, with Stephen Woolridge and Mary Nightingale.
Good evening. WASPy campaigners have threatened the government with legal action unless it reconsiders the decision to reject compensation for millions of women affected by changes to the state pension. The Women Against State Pension Equality campaign demanded compensation to be paid to women born in the 1950s whose state pension age was raised to be equal with men, but the government said in December it would not be paid. In December, Work and Pensions Secretary Liz Kendall said taxpayers could not afford what could be a £10.5 billion compensation package for the women. On Monday, the WASPy campaign sent a letter before action to Department for Work and Pensions, warning of High Court proceedings if the issue was not resolved. WASPy chairwoman Angela Madden said members would not allow the DWP's gaslighting of WASPy women to go unchallenged. WASPy campaigners said the government's reason for rejecting the Parliamentary and Health Service Ombudsman report, which found that the women should be paid up to £2,950 each, are legally wrong. The group, which had launched a £75,000 crowd justice campaign to fund the legal action, says the government has 14 days to respond before the case is filed. The Prime Minister, Chancellor Rachel Reeves, and Work and Pensions Secretary Liz Kendall were among the senior ministers who backed up the WASPy campaign when Labour was in opposition. About 3.6 million women in the UK were affected by the change, first announced in the 1990s, to bring their retirement age in line with men. This was later accelerated under the Conservative Liberal Democrat coalition government more than a decade ago. However, there was a 28-month delay in writing to uniform then of the changes, which the government accepted and apologised for. The government previously highlighted research indicating that by 2006, 90% of 1950s born women knew about the state pension age changes. WASPy campaigners have claimed women suffered financial hardship and had to rethink retirement plans. Mrs Madden said the government had accepted that 1950s born women are victims of maladministration, but now says none of us suffered any injustice. We believe this is not only an outrage, but legally wrong. A government spokesperson said that we accept the Ombudsman's findings of maladministration. We're just got to say that word. And apologise for there being a 28-month delay in writing to the 1950s born women. However, evidence showed only 1 in 4 people remember reading and receiving letters that they weren't expecting, and that by 2006, 90% of the 1950s born women knew that their state pension age was changing. Earlier letters wouldn't have affected this. For these and other reasons, the government cannot justify paying for a £10.5 billion compensation scheme at the expense of the taxpayer. A yoga teacher who was attacked in the Southport stabbings has said that she felt she had to survive in order to save the children in her class, despite being stabbed 5 times. Alex Rugabanka murdered Alistair Silva Aguiar 9, BB King 6 and Elsie Dot Stancombe 7 at a Taylor Swift themed class in July 2024. Rugabanka was 17 at the time of the attack. He was jailed for a minimum of 52 years in January. He attempted to murder 8 other children who cannot be named for legal reasons, as well as businessman John Hayes and class instructor Leanne Lucas. In an interview with the BBC's Panorama, Leanne Lucas told the programme how she was able to get herself and several children out of the room, despite suffering stab wounds to her spine, head, ribs, lung and shoulder blade. She said, Rugabanka opened the door and just grabbed a child. I didn't know what he was doing. He then grabbed the next child and the next. And then I shout, "Who is that?" Then I struggle to get that part of the memory back because he moves from the girls at the table and he moves over to the right next to me. I just felt something go in my back and my brain said, he's got me. So he got me and then he got me again. And I just knew that if I didn't get out, everyone was going to die. Miss Lucas sustained 5 stab wounds to her spine, head, ribs, lung and shoulder blade. Despite this, the yoga instructor and her friend, dance teacher Heidi Liddell, were able to get several children out the room. She said, he was bigger than me and I just thought I need to get some help. So we were shouting, run, and I called 999 from the landing and asked for the police. I just wanted everyone to get out the building. I just kept saying, there's children inside, there's children inside. My brain's going 100 miles an hour. But my body won't do anything. And then people are asking me questions and I'm just saying, go and get the children. I just don't know what else I could have done. You just don't feel brave when you're an adult. When you're the adult. The police said we'd all be dead if me and Heidi hadn't done what we'd done. And that gives nothing for the children who did die. Like, that doesn't take that away. Miss Lucas added, I found out he'd pleaded guilty on the news. It's hard because I felt so angry. We knew he did it. He knew he did it. Every single person knew he did it. And he waited until the day of the trial to say guilty. And put every single family, victim, witness, everyone in that position. It's so shocking at how much evidence they had on him, how he slipped through the net. Like, when he was found with a knife on a bus. I mean, I struggle to hear that, and I don't imagine what the bereaved families feel when they hear stuff like that. She added, the only reason to survive is the fact that I did get out and I am alive, and the fact that the girls aren't, and I've got to stay alive for them. Otherwise, what's the point? These children represent goodness, I think, just pure goodness. Happiness, how genuine they were, positive, their love of life, and just making the best out of every single moment. That's how I remember them. Still to come on the STV News at 10. The MPs are to debate social media ban for under 16s after support for petition. For all of that story and more when we come back right after this very short break. See you in a minute. Hello and welcome back. The Concave and Timothy Chalamet triumph at SAG Awards in Los Angeles happened. The surprise wins make Sunday's Oscars even more unpredictable. Here's what happened.
Ray Fiennes seemed to be in a hurry to get to the event, an evening for the acting community to come together after a difficult period.
I'm glad that we get to celebrate the people who've done good work, and I'm glad that we get to celebrate with people, not just the actors in front of the camera, but every single person who's making this kind of event happen. I think this is a place where we can actually inject a little bit more joy.
How important is it that this event is going ahead? LA's had a hell of a time.
Yeah, but you pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and start all over again.
As with many awards events leading up to this year's Oscars, there have been date changes and extensions to voting deadlines. But the organisers here were determined that this show would go on as scheduled, as a love letter to LA.
So there was huge applause for the firefighters who took their place alongside the nominees.
Timothée Chalamet.
Even at this stage of awards season, there were surprises in store. Timothée Chalamet, who plays Bob Dylan in A Complete Unknown, beating the favourite Adrian Brody to Best Actor.
Demi Moore for The Substance.
No surprises for Best Actress as Demi Moore's comeback continues.
I am so grateful that I have continued over these so many years to be able to try and sometimes succeed and sometimes fail.
As famous for her activism as her acting, Jane Fonda picked up the Lifetime Achievement Award with a politically charged speech.
Make no mistake, empathy is not weak or woke. And by the way, woke just means you give a damn about other people.
Has 3 hearts.
The TV categories were dominated by the historical drama Shogun, which got 3 SAG awards, while British winners included Jessica Gunning for her role in the TV series Baby Reindeer.
Conclave.
And winning Best Film Ensemble, Conclave.
And huge admiration to the other ensembles we've seen tonight. I think that's what we're celebrating, is our community. Thank you very much indeed.
The winners of this category in recent years have also got Best Film at the Oscars. All eyes now on next weekend's finale. Nina Nana, ITV News in Los Angeles.
And finally, MPs will discuss a ban on social media for children under the age of 16. On Monday afternoon, after more than 128,000 people signed a petition calling for the ban. The petition says social media companies shouldn't let those under 16 create social media accounts, as they are having more of a negative impact to children than a positive one. It argues that a ban would help to stop online bullying, stop children being influenced by false posts, and stop children seeing content that encourages violence or could be harmful for their future. The decision comes after Australia's government voted to ban social media for under 16s last November. Although the legislation may not take effect until later this year, that ban could see each tech company fined millions if they don't comply. The debate on children's use of social media and smartphones has gained momentum in recent years. The campaign group Smartphone Free Childhood, created last year, now has a community of more than 150,000 parents working together to change the culture around kids and smartphones. The group says the issue has become one of the defining parenting challenges of our time. Kate Edwards from the NSPCC recently told an ITV Tonight investigation into smartphone use that the current internet age of 13 doesn't keep children safe. The age limit for most social media accounts is 13, and this is actually rooted in data laws rather than any considerations around safety, he said. Many safety considerations have just been built on that age, rather than actually taking into account the age and stage development of children, and when might be appropriate for them to engage with these services. The protection of children is one of the key aims of the Online Safety Act 2023. Under the Act, social media companies must protect children in a number of ways, including by removing illegal content quickly or preventing it from appearing in the first place. It also must prevent children from accessing harmful content and use age-checking measures so that children cannot access pornographic material and other age-inappropriate content. The regulator Ofcom is implementing the Act in phases, and the new legislation is yet to be tested. The debate in Westminster Hall will be led by Labour MP Tony Vaughan, who is a member of the Petitions Committee, and MPs from all parties can take part. The government will send a minister to respond. In a response to the petition last December, the government said it was not currently minded to support a ban for children under 16. The statement went on to say, children face a significant risk of harm online, and we understand that families are concerned about their children experiencing online bullying, encountering content, and that encourages violence. Other content, which may be harmful, we will continue to do what is needed to keep children safe online. However, this is a complicated issue. We live in a digital age and must strike the right balance so that children can access the benefits of being online and using smartphones while we continue to put their safety first. And if you want to watch the debate, it can be watched on itv.com/news. And there you go. That is tonight's STV News at 10. Coming next will be the national weather and the news from your part of the UK, but from me and Mary, good night. And thank you for watching. Good night.